A relationship with the right referral partner could be a game changer for any B2B company. So what if you could reverse engineer these relationships at a moment's notice? Start a podcast, invite potential referral partners to be guests on your show, and grow your referral network faster than ever. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. Today we are joined by Mukund Sundaram. Mukund is a serial entrepreneur, a data scientist, and the CRO of AptoZen. Mukund, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you here today. We're going to be talking about something that is, I think it's something we haven't talked about a whole lot on the show, certainly not this direction. We are going to be talking about using data to actually hire the right marketing team. But before we get into today's topic, maybe you can tell our listeners a little about your background and what you and your team at AptoZen are up to these days.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure. Well, I've been, like you said very eloquently, serial entrepreneur. I've been in the Bay Area, San Francisco for the last almost 20 years and been around the block, worked at very large companies, learned what it is to be in business, and have been trying my hand at many startups myself, primarily related to how people interact. So social interactions using AI. The first one that I did actually was an AI product for the Department of Defense that helped them figure out how to predict battle outcomes based on what kind of people they recruit. So it kind of started out there, and then that drove me into a sales career and a marketing career, and to better understand people and better figure out how we can systematically try to mimic people's decisions. However much we do it, it's not exactly the same, and that's what we're finding at AptoZen. However, at AptoZen, we use data science to create a hiring as a service platform. Basically, we use data to understand people beyond their resumes, and we understand companies beyond the job description. Clearly, you can't summarize someone's life in one sheet of paper. There's much more they have to contribute. Likewise, companies too, there's so many things going on in the company. We can't just summarize all of them in one sheet of paper called a job description and a LinkedIn profile. So we do that, go beyond all of that, and my whole team helps figure out how to collect that data and how to match that data together as professional matchmakers. We use technology extensively to augment our work, to make it faster, make it better, reduce errors, so that we are outcome-driven solution. So we know what the outcomes are, i.e., we need a great employee working in our team. And that's what a company says. We need a great marketer. We need a great salesperson. We need the best engineer. Nobody ever says, give me the second best or the third best. They always want the best. So that kind of drives us to think, how can we be better? How can we keep pushing the envelope? And so that's what my team is doing here, using data science to figure out the best way to uncover, reveal the potential of candidates or job seekers, and uncover or reveal the potential of companies and put one and one together to make it 11, not 2.
Very cool stuff. I mean, from battle strategies to mimicking human behavior, your resume kind of reads like a combination of Ender's Game meets the Terminator. So
I appreciate
I'm going to try and stay on your good side during this conversation. But, and I think when we're talking about hiring the right team, I mean, even more specifically, the right marketing team, but, there can be so much waste that is associated with hiring the wrong team, the wrong people, through the training, the process, the waiting around for a new employee or team member. So I think this is such a hugely important thing to talk about, especially for our listeners. So let's dive in. What are some of the challenges that marketing or even sales leaders face when they're finding the right talent and building successful teams?
It's you said it really well. The challenges are kind of what the situation is, and the challenges. It's very simple to think about. I mean, we all participate in sports, either ourselves by playing in them or observing them as spectators. I think everyone in our in our lives that has done that. A ball game or a football game or tennis, whatever it is. So when you think of hiring somebody, let's say you have a team and you would like, let's say it's a sports team, you'd like to hire somebody. I mean, what do you expect? You expect that that person will join your team. And when they join the team, they're already the best at what they do. They're the expert. They're, whatever you think the best is, they're already the best. And when they join, you want them to be performing at that best level right away. I mean, that's what everybody thinks. When I hired the person, oh yeah, they're going to join my team. They're going to be incredibly great for me. Well, yes, but to get there, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort, like you alluded to. And finding people itself is difficult. I think every executive in any industry, in any walk of life, would agree with that. That's the one thing that keeps us up at night. More than even business results, keep wondering, do you have the right team to get you there? That's what you keep thinking about. So the challenges that they face typically are first finding the right people. They use recruiters. They use services like AptoZen to figure that out. They use their own personal networks. But we have to bear in mind that we didn't go to school to become better at finding other people. Nobody has a degree in, hey, I'm a better finder of talent. It just comes naturally. So it's an industry learned talent, if you will. And people think they're very good at it. Sure, some people are. And to be good at anything, you got to spend a lot of time, practice it, and keep getting better and better. Learn from your mistakes and so on. So that's the first thing that people don't realize is when they get into this area of finding these hidden gems for their teams, the great marketer who will incredibly change their brand from X to Y or make it a premium product or drive sales and reduce sales cycle by half. That's what we think about when you think about marketers. And they're such larger than life personalities that they would make our companies like that. Finding these people is incredibly tough. Even if you know that somebody was great at Google, they're a great marketer at Google, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a great marketer for you because your own team is different. You're not Google. If you're Google, absolutely go hire away from Google because you're just transferring them from one place to another. But if you're another company, the dynamics, the culture, the management structure, the business goals, the velocity of work, what people bring to the table, what have they done before, what motivates them beyond everything. So it's just like a sports team. The goals are different. The location's different. Pretty much everything is different. Just like no two people are the same. Just we look different. We have different backgrounds, different families. Just like that. No two employees are the same. And no two companies are the same. So just by hiring for talent, meaning looking for the best people, does not mean that is success. You have to look for talent, and you look for talent working in your environment. And that's why most, even at the executive level, most of the executive hires fail. I mean, I think I read a metric, it's not more than 20 and 25% of the executives actually work out in any company. That's because they might have been great executives at company X, but when you put them in company Y, the environment is different. It might not be as effective. So that's the first challenge. I mean, after that, everything is related to this. All the other challenges. Will they work properly within my routines, everyday routines? Would this employee know what my expectations are every day to deliver to these business outcomes? So then they think about training. Well, if they train them better, they'll be better, right? Well, wrong, because even training is something that works with personalities. Certain people are good at taking tests. Certain people are not. We know that. We have seen people, friends, and even personal examples where we might be good at something but not something else. So even training needs to be customized. So finding talent needs to be customized. Training needs to be customized. And then eventually making them work out for you with all this training, with all this experience that your company is going to give them. Your employees are going to give each other. So how you change because of the new employee and how the new employee changes because of you, all these things matter as well. So these are things you don't think about as any sales and marketing leader. We just think we'll just hire this great guy and he's going to achieve quota or he's going to drive success for me. So that's what we are here about, that it is unfair to look at any human, any person, and just quantify them with a resume, quantify them with just these 7 things they did in their accomplishments section, or the little 2-line LinkedIn headline, you say, I'm a great executive, blah, blah, blah. Does that justify a person? It doesn't. So it does, what it requires is a deeper thinking, a deeper analysis of who this person is. And that's where, I think the newer companies are looking at an AI-based approach, which makes it better, faster, less erroneous, or have a great opportunity here to succeed because it's aligned directly with business outcomes. As long as you can align it with business outcomes, I think the hiring leaders would appreciate that. Their challenges are solved because all they want to do is get this person working for them as soon as possible. So that's where the opportunity is.
Yeah. Well, and no longer the days of, I'm going to go with my gut. Now we have data, right, and we have the means. I mean, even in just listening to you just now, obviously so many factors to consider with what makes an employee a good fit. It's not necessarily you look at one person, they're the best in their field. That's no longer a good enough metric to sort of make that decision. So, all right, so let's talk about AI a little bit and, maybe some of the, I don't know if I want to call them pitfalls, but, there can be some resistance, there can be some hesitation, there can be some even intimidation in thinking, I don't know what to do. I'm not ready for this. Our company doesn't need that. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Absolutely. It's a very legitimate concern and question, Jonathan. I meet customers or people who may be interested in us every day, go to conferences, have similar conversations. And I myself think about it personally. And how would I feel if a machine, if someone were to tell me that a machine would do the work for me? Well, think about it. There's certain things where, in certain places in our lives where we do use machines. We use cars. Those are machines. And they take us from point A to point B. They are doing the work for us. Are we scared of them? Yes, we were when they came out the first time. And over the course of time, we got comfortable with it. Airplanes, same thing. I don't know if you look at complex systems like surgical devices where doctors use holographic visualization to operate on patients. That was really scary to think of, but it works now. The world has become, mankind has made that a reality. AI is the same thing. It's a fancy concept people have created right now, or they think it's fancy. It's actually very, very routine if you think about it. It's very boring. AI is actually very boring. What it does is it automates and speeds up human actions over and over again. And it does it really fast thanks to computers. And if you think a machine is doing the work for you, and like you alluded to in the beginning, like the Terminator movie, that does sound scary. Wow, a machine actually controls our world. No, they don't. A machine can never experience things like a human can. Even if you give it a bolt of knowledge, it is never going to be experiencing heat, light, the sound of a baby, what that means. So there's so many things a machine can never do, never ever do. And I'm taking it from me. I've been working on this for a long time. By the time humans figured that out to create those kinds of machines that come in the Terminator movie, we would actually have found another civilization, another universe, and moved over there. I mean, that's how advanced that stuff is. That's never happened. So that's the kind of concern people have, and we assure them that the machine is doing certain routine human tasks, and they make it better and faster and less erroneous. But at the same time, especially for hiring, it's very important to have the human touch. Would you, if you have a family, would you get into a plane that has no pilot, although unmanned flight has been there for decades? I never would. Yeah. I have a family. I never would. Just feel better with a human out there. Whatever happens, even if the human is having coffee and sleeping, that's okay. I'd rather have someone called a pilot who speaks with us, and we know that that person exists with us, and he's experiencing it at the same time. The same thing with hiring. A pure AI system can never replace hiring, and if someone believes in that, I think they're making certain assumptions that will create contradictions in their mind. Human touch is the way to solve that. The machine does its work. We oversee it. We supervise it. Our own machine, and we correct it. Because the machine is like a baby, it learns, but it'll never replace a baby, it'll never replace a human. So there's certain things experientially, like you very nicely said, gut feeling. Yeah, it's no longer the word of gut feel, but gut feel still has a place. Gut feel still has a place. But if you feel a bit intimidated or scared in the middle of the night walking in, downtown New York City, what is that? It's gut feel. That's what we bring into hiring as well. Is this person the candidate whom they say they are? Is this company whom they say they are? Just because they're a company doesn't mean they're any better, because at the end of the day, company is also built of humans. Well, that's the beauty of it. So, yeah, we can use AI. There's some resistance and hesitations to considering that concept. But as we talk to people and educate them, our prospects, especially when we look at marketing and we say, we use AI to find talent. However, we have human touch to speak to those marketers, to understand their creativity. A person who can draw something on a white sheet of paper, are they better or worse than somebody who can put it up on a digital screen? I don't know that. You can't say that. You can't say one's better or worse. A beautiful artist. I mean, we've had the greatest artists in the world who've drawn paintings for us. Those are all on sheets of paper or canvas. They're not any less or any more inferior than the best web designers of the world today. So they're all related.
Yeah.
And that's where the human touch comes in to see those patterns beyond what the machine can.
Yeah.
And that's what we assure them on.
Well, and it definitely, it feels like, AI is, like many things, is a tool. I mean, it's there, it's valuable, and it can really accelerate your success. It can accelerate your goals. It can sort of take you to another level, but it's not necessarily, like you said, a complete substitute for, at least at the end of the day, that human touch. So
absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yes.
So, Mukund, let's talk really quick before I let you go. Certainly there is a lot that AI is capable of doing and places that it's going to take us. What would you say are some actionable pieces of advice that you could leave our marketing and or sales leaders right now to help find the right candidates to build a successful team?
Great question, and I'm happy to share a couple of quick tidbits, what I use myself as my barometer or compass, if you will. If I didn't have AptoZen, what would I have done? So first is knowing yourself, which they always say. What does that mean? Well, knowing yourself meaning knowing your strength, your own as an executive, strengths and weaknesses, and then extending it to knowing your own company's, your team's strengths and weaknesses, where you are. You got to be honest with yourself, and you should know, hey, I'm a great product creator. I'm not going to be good at hiring marketing people. Or I'm a great marketer. I can look at other marketers and get that gut feel, sure, but I'm not going to be good at hiring salespeople. But just because human interaction is easy, it's social because we're all social beings, doesn't mean that we're going to be good at doing all the things that now has become a complex science. What I would let people really think about is whenever you consider hiring someone, or if you're a job seeker, you're trying to consider joining a company, think of the fit. The fit is the person to the job, the person to the organization, the person to the supervisor, the person to the group or the immediate team. If you can answer your gut feel in those four ways, how does this job feel? How does the supervisor feel? How does this team look like? And do I like the company, their culture, the free coffee or the beanbags, things like that? If you can answer all of that honestly to yourself, both from the company side as a leader who's hiring people and as a job seeker, you get the perfect match. Or you use AptoZen, we'll automate it for you.
Absolutely. Mukund, it makes a lot of sense. We really appreciate you sort of sharing your insight and your expertise on the subject today with us and our listeners. And if any of our listeners out there are interested in connecting with you, learning more about today's topic, or even finding out a little bit more about AptoZen and what you guys are up to, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It was a pleasure speaking as well. The best way to get in touch with me, on LinkedIn. You can't miss me. There are not many people with my name, based in the San Francisco Bay Area and doing AI work. But of course, please do check out www.aptozen.com. That has a lot of information of what we talked about. And if anyone has questions, please reach out to me personally on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to get in touch and answer anything or be at least a knowledgeable resource for you.
Perfect. Mukund, thanks again so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
I appreciate it, Jonathan. Thank you very much.
If you're a B2B marketer, we want to feature you on sites like Huffington Post, Social Media Examiner, and Chief Marketer. Every week, we send out a question related to B2B marketing. We use the responses to those questions to fuel the content we write for really popular websites. So head over to sweetfishmedia.com/questions and sign up today.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.